We are gathered here today to commemorate a moment in time. A time and a moment full of many moments throughout a very long time where we shared a lot of moments.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, God.
And time
Oh, God, so soon.
together.
Wow.
And
Oh, God.
I think we can say it best by saying she was wonderful.
Yeah.
She, they, them, their, his was wonderful.
Gender's a construct.
And they gave us a lot. They gave us time together. They gave us a few checks. They gave us an orange couch to lay our butts on and open up
Her legs.
to the amount of people that have come through
Oh, God.
us, our door.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
And that person is this podcast. Today we lay her to rest, and it's not going to be easy, but we are all ready for it. Welcome to the funeral of Dare We Say. In all seriousness, you guys, we want to, I don't want to say in all seriousness because I hate when people say that because only unfunny people say
I don't like the
I
in all
say in
serious
all
because we're not very
seriousness.
serious.
We're not either. But for clarification, not for clarification because that sounds like I wasn't clear enough. This is just going to rip the Band-Aid off. No, that sounds like I don't care that much about
Listen,
the podcast.
this is our last episode.
This is our last episode.
and it's
The
sad.
last Dare We Say
And-
episode.
Yeah, it is sad. But it's also exciting because we're celebrating so much that we've accomplished. And for many of you, this may seem like, well, maybe you don't care, but maybe some of you do care and are confused. And I think we want to
Talk about it.
We want
talk
to
about
Talk about it, be honest, and have you guys
conversation.
be a part of the conversation, because the reason that we started this podcast was to be transparent
Yeah.
and to let you guys in.
And also finish it out with some of our favorite moments and
what's next for all three of us. 'Cause
exactly.
And honoring what we've done here, because it's
Yeah.
been important and it's been special and it's been such a beautiful ride that I could have never expected.
100%. We started this podcast as three best friends, and we're finishing it out as three best friends. That has always stayed constant at Dare We Say, and that's always going to continue till our last days.
I think at the beginning of starting this podcast, I remember, because I don't think we've talked about it at all, actually, of like the
origin.
conception of this baby that is now dead. But when I remember being in my room and speaking with a fellow friend of mine and just saying that I wanted to start a podcast with Yasmine because we were obsessed with like having these types of conversations. And we originally wanted the podcast to be called Let's Get Hard.
Let's Get Hard.
We had a whole slide deck. And I think we shared it with my former manager. She was like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
And
she literally
this
did.
will
She's
not
like-
be made ever. So you guys need to go back to the drawing board. And I remember telling her, I want Crooked to be the home for this podcast. Like there was it's crazy because I don't even know how I was so certain at that time, because I feel like even just like 3 years ago, I feel like podcasts were still like at a high, but now I feel like they're like so like Call Her Daddy and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
Everything is just
they've become like moguls.
and so now
people
there's
on
like more
podcasts.
channels and stuff, but I'm so happy that I was the most familiar with Crooked out of all of the
Same.
studios of everything back then. And I was determined to like, bring it here. I remember having a meeting with this icon, Sarah, and speaking to her about what the show would look like. And then seeing that like she was really excited to like have a show where people could have these types of conversations about life and like socio-politics and things that like existed in the world, from like we say all the time, like Megan Thee Stallion to policy reform and things that are just equally important to us. And I remember being in Hawaii with Alycia and telling her about this podcast. And then when I found out that they were like really interested in doing it, which was when we were at the airport, I literally pulled Alycia aside and I was like, we cannot do this podcast without you. It cannot happen. And you weren't even in the conversation at all. Yeah. And so I think you were like, okay.
No, I was so taken aback because I think I'd heard like murmurs of you guys working on it, like in the kitchen. Because as most people know, we all lived together at the time when this little beautiful baby was born. And I remember you pulling me aside randomly, like in a nook of Hawaii. And I remember being so like honored and humbled that you guys would even think so highly of me. But in total transparency, I was scared because I knew that out of the three of you guys, struggle the most with being transparent about like emotionally how I'm doing. I think it's always been really easy for me to have like conversations about race relations and equity and socioeconomic status and things like that. But I knew that I was going to be pushed in this podcast, and you guys, in the most loving, reassuring ways, held my hand and said, we're going to do it together, so it's going to be fine. And I said, okay, if I do it with them, I'd go to the ends of the earth. So might as well do something that really does shake me in certain ways, because I knew it was going to be a very new thing for me. Anywho, I love that we all went to the drawing board as a collective together.
Yeah.
And we were adamant about staying true to who we are, but being a family and going forward. And wanting to grow and like take this journey together, because we had never done this before.
And I want to touch quickly on our first pilot that we did together.
Yeah.
Because
I forgot.
Yeah, so that was in October of 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming back that night from outside lands. We were driving the whole entire night that weekend. We were in San Francisco.
Oh my God,
I
forgot
and
that
we
too.
got
And
maybe
we were
2
like-
hours of
we
sleep.
were in the car like this.
Wait, was I driving?
No,
Or
Omar was driving my car. You were in the back seat. We had in and out. We got maybe 2 hours of sleep max. And we actually had Whitney Cummings on the podcast on our pilot, and we never aired it.
And she was phenomenal.
She was incredible. And it was Did God Create the Fuckboy? And we've never released that. We did the pilot. We were exhausted. I remember that morning, we just didn't talk. Like in the beginning, like our voices were shot. We're like this. And then we did the pilot. We're like, okay, that was mid. But you know what? Not too bad. And then I remember Sandy emailing us, and Caroline and Ari. This
wonderful producers.
Yeah, and this was before Fiona came into the family. And they were like, so we're going to do that again. Because that wasn't you guys.
Yeah.
You guys didn't prep. And like podcasts, once again, you don't pick up a mic and you don't just talk. You have to prepare. You have to be intentional. And that's what we learned. And we did it again. And I don't want to keep rambling, but the one day I remember the exact, oh God.
No.
Shit.
We love you.
No, it's like incredible because like we got to do this with our I got to do this with my best friends. I was in the hotel with my parents one weekend in March. And this was last year. And we did the pilot. We did it in January, the second one. And we got an email from Sandy with everyone. And she said, we got greenlit, guys. We did it. And I remember I FaceTimed you. Alycia was like this in bed. Josie was at the bank with a mask on. And we're like, I have the screenshot.
That is a perfect
I was
description.
sobbing. And I was like, we fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have a season making stuff as best friends, giving people a community. That was one of the best days of my life. That was genuinely one of the best days of my life.
Oh my God.
You're the cutest person. Good
I know, I sound so fucking sad.
No, I love you so
Come closer.
Sorry, I love you so much. And we literally love you. And our producers like hold the mic to your mouth.
Hold the mic.
No, hold the mic. Stop wristing it.
No, we love you so much. And I think that we are so lucky to be this close.
Yeah.
And to have, it's so weird. Like, obviously, like, our friendship exists on camera and on the podcast, but like, none of this, all of this has to do with our friendship, but also none of this has to do with our friendship either
100%.
at the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, we're family in real life and also in this life.
Yeah.
And like consistently, I've been so proud of every conversation we've had, every time one of us have been uncomfortable about something.
Yeah.
and wanted to speak about it. And even if we didn't want to, we did. And having like such open discourse. And we went places that none of us would have maybe gone on any other platform.
Absolutely.
And talked about things we never would have talked about for the betterment of other people, but also for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think it not only helped, you know, some of the people that have told us that we've helped them, but also like it's helped us.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think it's important to, you know, like acknowledge the fact that we had growing pains.
Yeah,
like I think it's really easy in this day and age, especially with social media and so many other factors, for people to get like a glamorized shot of someone's process or experience. And there were aspects that weren't easy, like, because I think all of us had very distinct challenges with the podcast, but I think that we were committed not only to this wonderful team that believed in us, but to each other. And I think that we're coming out better as better people too, because in all honesty, there were moments that we had to hold each other accountable, or one of us may have said something that we didn't like.
That crossed a boundary.
That crossed a boundary.
I've done
like
that many times.
We all have. That's
they're like, let's keep it a whole buck, because that's what we've strived to do from the beginning, and we hope to go out that way. Is like, we are not perfect, we're far from it, but we are committed to like living in our truth, whatever that may be. And there were a lot of like car conversations after episodes or prior to episodes that weren't the most pleasant, but they made us better women. They made us better humans. They made us a better collective, because we had to confront things whether we liked it or not. Whereas, you know, friend to friend, just going to coffee dates and going to shopping, obviously our friendships have never just been that superficial.
This is very familial,
but
too.
it's super familial. But now, because we had work a part of it in a way, it was a new aspect that we had to explore, and there was a sense of maturity that we had to find in that
100%.
way. And I have felt so privileged to do that with you girls, because I think you've made me better. I think I've had to be very very candid about my shortcomings and my weaknesses as a communicator, and just as an artist in general. And I think that I'm coming out better because of it. And I think you guys are champions, and we're already so phenomenal and make me better on a daily basis. And the fact that we can say that we had a podcast, I think, is super special.
And I think, I mean, not only was this podcast such a growing experience, it was also a support system.
100%.
And I remember being so far away from home. Everyone's sick of me talking about it. But like, all I wanted to do was be with you guys. And I think as much as we tried to all stay in constant communication, it was just difficult. It's like an 8-hour time difference. And you guys had lives. And like, I think you both did like an amazing job, like, you know, still talking to me and like trying to like keep me updated with everything and make me feel included. And obviously, like, we all talked a lot, but like having this time to just see each other once a week and catch up, it wasn't just something fun to do, it was a necessity. And like, I needed that. I needed that. And I in my lowest moments, like, I had the two of you, and I know you guys feel the same. And I think that it's something that is so special.
We didn't take it lightly, the gravity to have a platform. Not everybody has that, especially people from our communities. Like the communities in which we come from, individuals are not always handed a mic to talk about what they find important. And that's something that can make me emotional. And that, you know, we have to thank Crooked for, I have to thank these beautiful sisters for. Like, we were really able to talk about racism and homophobia and awful legislation in this country, in addition to fashion trends and TikToks and rap songs. And we were allowed to be multidimensional, eclectic people. And I think that that's really special.
I think that you make an incredible point, and not to be like, that's the one good thing about our country, but like, we can speak freely here. And
okay, First Amendment.
You said Bill of Rights,
we had the
1789.
We had the First Amendment here, and seeing videos and TikToks of like the women in Iran and like queer people and like the UAE or like the Middle East in general not having the opportunity to speak. Why are you laughing?
Her laughing that women in the Middle East don't have that.
Yeah.
You are failing your ancestors.
Why is that funny to you?
It's not funny. You know how you were looking at me.
Alycia hates
I know,
women.
absolutely, don't do that. Josie was looking at the camera like this.
Alycia hates Arab women, so we can get that out there.
I love
No,
Arab
Do you know what I'm
women.
saying?
Yeah, no, I know what
like,
you're saying.
and especially
This is
queer people to
cool.
not even exist in the Middle East. It's illegal to be trans in fucking Dubai.
Yeah.
That's
People were trying to take me to
insane to me.
Dubai, and I'm like,
Oh.
girl, if you're
Why
trying
are
to take
people keep
yeah,
inviting us
I'm
to
like,
Dubai?
You take
No.
me, you're getting taken out.
Yeah. They're like, you guys want an expense-free trip to Dubai? I'm like, I'll get shot there.
Yeah, do you want an expense-free trip to heaven? Because bitch, I'm gonna fucking get killed.
Why
Yeah,
do
yeah,
people
yeah.
keep talking to us about Dubai? I feel
Because Dubai's a very like they're putting so much money right
White
now
people
into
love
tourism.
Dubai.
Well,
Black
all
folk
the
love Dubai.
all the influencers love Dubai because it's a made up city and they just like to be in the desert.
They also love Bali. But anyway,
anyways.
body.
Body,
No,
da,
she's singing
da, da.
Party by Bad Bunny because now
No, I
she's
know
not
she
gonna be-
is. No, I know because that's what she was singing. I said that isn't the song that you sent us 5 minutes ago. And she's like, no, I know. Oh, I could do a really good Shakira impression too. Do you want to hear?
No.
No.
But
And that's our friendship.
but I did go to the bathroom and feel like I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Only because I just feel like I'm so bad with being vulnerable. And but that's why I wanted to get on here and speak again. Because I think one thing that I am so proud of us for is how vulnerable not only all of us were, but how people who've come on here have been. And I just wanted to say I'm really grateful for that because I think it's helped me be more comfortable being vulnerable and speaking about things that I wouldn't have spoken about before. And it also like makes me sad because I don't have that for myself, for like trans people who speak on podcasts about like dating and life and like all these things. And to think that I'll still be that person for people like in the world because I'm not
You are.
dying.
You're not going anywhere.
But like not on this podcast like does make me sad, and I did want to say that, and like I don't like forget about that to like all the queer people who do listen to us and do, you know, see us and want us to be alive because we help them. And so that makes me happy too. And I never wanted to talk about that. That's not me. I don't talk about that kind of stuff like dating and, you know, living life and hooking up with people and like things like that. It's just not me at all, but I do it because I kind of want that. I want that. I want to hear that, you know?
Yes.
I want someone to tell me about that. I just want to be an actor that like sits at home and no one knows anything about. But I have too loud of a mouth. And I also know that like people need to feel represented, need to feel healed. And I want people to know if they are listening, maybe they're not. Maybe you don't give a fuck at all. That's great too. I'd be more comfortable with that because I have a fear of vulnerability. But to people that do care, whether it's like 4 of you or 10 of you or hundreds of you, I have no idea. I did not do good in math, but I'm still here for you guys, and I am not going anywhere in that way. And I'm so grateful for you guys for being so supportive. And that's what I wanted to say, I think, when I went to the bathroom and felt emotion.
Thank you for sharing. I hope you know, like, your simple existence and just the way that you are able to be so brave and truly yourself, like, in all the parts. I remember you just, like, talking on certain episodes and me, like, getting lost in you and just being, like, very proud. Like, honestly, just as a fan. Like, obviously, I'm a sister. I'm a friend, a wife, a life partner. But I was just like, wow, like, you really are doing the damn thing. And I will say, like, I don't think we've ever really talked about that or had, like, a direct conversation where we talked about this. But the comments on, like, YouTube or, like, DMs that I've gotten or comments on Insta, I don't think we've ever had a distinct conversation about this. But where someone would say, like, Yas, thank you so much. I am bi and I'm Middle Eastern. Or someone said, I've never heard an Afro-Latina talk about body dysmorphia in that way. Or someone talking about, wow, just your truthfulness about dating and love and your identity. Like, those comments, like I don't really care about, like, the stats of an episode. But the fact that someone took the time out of their day to reach out to us and say that, just am really grateful and really special. And I think that kept us coming back every week. And I think because life is just moving fast and we've been busy, we've never had a distinct conversation about that.
No.
Like seeing those comments and having people reach out on a personal level, or even in person. Like I get so uncomfortable, but I've had multiple people in person be like, hey, I listened to this episode and I really loved it. Or like, oh my gosh, it made me laugh.
Yeah,
Or
it's true.
I was listening to this. We never talk about that. We never ever talk about that.
mean,
But I've had multiple people in person be like, I listen to your podcast, and they'll like give me a thought-provoking response back, and it shows me like, wow, you actually took time out of your day. And I don't take that lightly. Like you took an hour or whatever it may be, your car ride, you getting ready in the morning. Like life is so busy, it's so hectic, we're immersed with so much information. The fact that you were able to just sit down with us and listen to some crazy 3 girls trying to figure out life, I do not take that lightly. Like we are thankful for the time that you shared with us, and we hope that you feel seen and represented. And you guys do that on a daily basis within this podcast and outside.
You too.
I
Thank you.
You have a Palestinian Lebanese trans woman. You have an Afro-Latina woman who grew up in the Bronx, a Dominican woman. You have a Lebanese bisexual girl from Silicon Valley, and they all walk into a bar, and you get the best fucking night of your life.
Oh, okay.
And that's what. Okay, hold on. And
wait,
hold on.
wait, I'm
Hold
in
on.
the back. Not sexual. Like we
No,
mean like
not
a lot of
sexual.
fun.
No, not
like you'll
sexual.
dance a lot. Like you'll dance a lot and you'll laugh a
No,
lot.
like you'll never be the same.
Yeah.
Because we don't see people like us everywhere. And Josie, what you said about like you do have a platform, you don't like being vulnerable. You don't like being vulnerable either. But
what are other bad things about it?
No.
So now we just drag each other. No, I'm kidding. We love
but
you.
like you really like you guys aren't. But the fact is, in the last 36 weeks and beyond that, you got to show a side where I see that because I'm your sister, I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
To people who need to see that.
Yeah.
And you're doing such a service.
Yeah. And like
And
I like let it be said, like who are we? Like we are so grateful for this opportunity, but we want everybody to feel like more comfortable in their own skin and identity. And I think that's what drove us to keep doing this every week. Like despite maybe the inner turmoil that we were all facing at times, we were having the time of our life. It's been so much fun, so much laughing, so much joy, so much dancing. But you know, the times that we were struggling, like what kept us going was the fact that like if even one person feels more comfortable in their
all
skin,
that matters.
or even one more person feels like, wow, I can have this conversation with my family member, or feel a little less alone, then we did our job.
And we
you
did
know,
it.
We should all be showing up for one another, and that's what I think strive to do with this pod.
But
Amen.
there's one thing that has always been constant in every episode, and that is the amount of times we have looked. Do you want to take that?
No, say it.
The amount of times we collectively have looked over. Can we cut that? Can we take that out of the episode? So
Just because we weren't trying to ruin our lives, you know? Or
I
our family
mean,
members'
whether
lives.
it was we could have been canceled, or friendships could have ended, or
Yep.
our moms could have been mad at us, or someone could have found out that someone was being unfaithful to another person. We
Not
have
us.
had
not that's. I'll tell you
Other
right now.
trifling people.
That's not
no,
us.
that was just like an example.
not us.
Not
So when we
specific to
did
us.
want to have decorum and keep it a little bit together, which we don't always do,
We
we
would
would say,
ask for something to be cut out. And also when we started this too, we knew that this was going to be a time commitment, and we knew that we were going to have to make our time here as efficient and as best as possible, while also maintaining everything else in our life as well. You pointed out that I was working long hours. Like Yasmine, literally, you work a full-time job.
Full-time
every single
job.
day.
Like,
And,
I'm still hustling.
she's like
like,
corporate
goes-
queen.
she-
She works super diligently.
because I'm
Yeah.
still having my foot in the door. Like
she's
I'm
getting off meetings and running in the door like 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
And like it literally will come to Crooked at like 3 hours earlier than our podcast
To be
the
able to do
studio, just to be able to
meetings.
do her meetings so she can make it on time.
yeah.
And like we have
Yeah.
each had to sort of incorporate this into our lives, and I think it's been really great. But I also think that you get to a point when something is growing, like this baby that it is, and you know, it gets harder to maintain and to raise the baby when you have everything else going on in our life.
Yeah.
And I think that we also knew from the start that this was a two-way street. And as much as our producers, Caroline and Fiona and Ari, were so incredible with guiding us and holding our hands, we had to pull our own weight too. And I think that we got to a point with all of our busy schedules and with filming and with everything else that exists in the world of our worlds, we felt that continuing this podcast, we wouldn't be able to be fulling 100% of that weight. And we feel like that's a disservice to the people who have brought us here.
Yeah.
And also all of you guys as well. And I think
Yep.
the beautiful thing about what we've done here is I can say for a fact we've come here every single time and given it 110% and been as raw and open as possible. And as much as we were like, yeah, we could kind of make this work continuing and doing more, we knew we weren't going to be able to do 150%. And we didn't want to give you guys that. And we didn't want to give ourselves that. And that's why we came to the conclusion to end it on this high point where...
And on our own terms.
And on our own terms.
I think like as young women who very much are still figuring out who we are in this world, like a lot of us are, right? We're just navigating, right? We're working through it. I think that we are learning what it looks like to take up space while creating space for other people around us and have agency. And I don't think that there like are enough words to properly articulate how grateful I am to Crooked and our wonderful producers. Shout out Ari, Caroline, Fiona, everyone that works on this show, sound, video, everything in between, for giving us the space to like have control.
Yeah.
And to have jurisdiction over like what we want to talk about and what we say, because that's not a privilege that we always have, especially as the artists that we are, you know, like we're actors, we're performers, we're artists. And that's not something that I had ever been given in this type of way. It's also important to know the extent that you are able to do something to your best ability. So I'm proud of us for being able to be close enough to have a very mature conversation and go, look, these are the factors, here are the pros and cons. And our journeys are starting to look a little bit different and including new things, which is beautiful. But that means new levels and new experiences and doors opening and doors closing.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you brought up the conversation, because the conversation in which, you know, we had a meeting with Crooked and they kind of give us the stats. They kind of gave us like, this is where we could go. What are your thoughts on this? And we said, well, would you give us, Alycia was in Puerto Rico. Josie was very sick with the stomach flu. I came in and we were just like, give us for the weekend to talk about this as best friends. And that conversation wasn't easy. That conversation was, if we do this, this is what possibilities could come out of it. If we don't do this, we get to leave with our heads held high, bow out with grace, and know that we did 36 incredible episodes on an incredible platform with an incredible audience. And
that we're proud of.
That we're beyond proud of.
And that will be here forever.
That's the thing. It's
like, I can't wait to be 40 and like,
oh gosh,
showing these episodes to my kids. And maybe I'll be a great grandma by then. Who knows?
No,
By
not
40?
40 years old,
But
girl.
like
Okay,
my
period.
grandkids and like I don't know, like I just can't wait to like be in the car one day and be missing you guys and knowing that I can just like turn on this podcast and hear our voices.
Yeah.
And to know that it's not going anywhere.
No, and
we know y'all have not listened to every single one.
yeah, come
so
on.
run that shit back.
Yeah, honestly,
not all of you have. So yeah.
it was difficult because I realized how much I love podcasting alongside like my acting, my writing, my producing. And like, yes, I work a 9 to 6, but I'm also like, I'm a hustling actor, you know? So I felt like transparently, and I've told this to you guys, this was a conversation that we had. Like, I feel like it was 1 step forward, 2 steps back in my career if we're not having this, because I'm not going to get the platform to show my face a little bit, because let's be honest about this industry. They want to see new faces, but they say they want to do, but they don't really show that they want to do. Like, I feel like everyone wants to cast a lot of times. A lot of people that they know, which is understandable, and they're not making room for new talent. So I feel like then I lose that door. But going back to what you said and what Josie and Alycia have said from the beginning, when one door closes, another one opens. But this door has never closed because this door is, I feel like, an entrance to a beautiful home where all of you can join. And this home is here forever. All 36 episodes are going to be here on every platform forever.
Yeah.
And that's something special that I feel like we get to have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I just feel like it's so important that like people know that we're having this conversation from a spirit of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people say that they had like a podcast? Okay, well, we're in LA.
I'm dead at that, Alycia.
Like,
On a global scale, how many people can say that they've had a podcast?
And have a giant studio.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and
produce
especially
it
like
and make it.
Crooked. I think it's important to note like
People get shook when they walk in. They're like, "Oh my god, this is a full."
Yeah, we were
building.
fans of the company prior to ever even being associated. Before there was even an inkling that we would potentially be able to have this show here.
I literally remember being 14 years old and working with Jon Favreau's brother,
Oh my
Andy
gosh.
Favreau, who played my uncle on like a TV show that I did in high school, and hearing about him. And
I
like
love that.
my mom being like, he's brilliant. He was a speechwriter for Obama. And then like my brother Omar being like, he has a podcast. And
yeah,
and they made Crooked. Like their voices,
they're icons.
made this place. So we do love them. And
yeah. So shout out to like manifestation
Daddy.
and setting intentions.
Not daddy.
What?
To our
Did you
dad,
say daddy?
to our fathers, our founding fathers, Tommy, John, and John. The burning question is, what's next for us? Miss Alycia, yeah?
Oh gosh, why me first? Yeah, I'm still just being an artist out here. Oh, that sounds so cliche. Oh. But you could catch me in a
more cliche. You saying
You
the
saying the word
words. It sounded
cliche. Yeah, literally.
No, all of it is just gross and vomit inducing.
Tell them why
but-
you're in Puerto Rico exactly.
Oh yeah. You can. I'm very grateful to be a part of the show. I just don't know how to talk about things. Please watch the show that I'm a part of. It's funny and wonderful and beautiful and surrounded by amazing Latinos, created by amazing Latinos. It's called Neon. It will be on Netflix coming out later this
Yes,
year.
it will.
I don't know exactly when. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm just happy to be here and along for the ride and grateful. You can follow me at Alycia del Sol. Yeah, I'll be dancing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of singing, everything in between. Let's
Do you
not talk
wanna
about
say
it. Nope.
something about
Nope.
that?
No, are you sure you don't? Because I think it's really important that people hear your voice. It is.
What if you say I'm gonna come out the single this summer?
Yeah.
What if
Hold
that
yourself
doesn't
accountable.
happen?
That's
you-
what I'm saying. Hold yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable. Let's fucking do it. You're saying it on a platform. Alycia, this is pushing yourself. This is the
It's
last
pushing
episode.
myself, but also like I have a show and maybe a movie to film. So it's like, yeah, I'll be doing lots of things, and yeah, I love you guys. This has been so fun. How about
Josie?
you, Josie Tota?
Well, aside from renewing my license,
That's a big
That's
thing.
the
that
biggest
is
one.
almost as expired as this podcast.
Too
I will be too soon.
Too soon.
I will be filming a horror film
Hara.
called Faces of Death, which sounds so scary. It's a remake of a 70s film. Very excited about it.
It's going to be coming out in movie theaters.
It's gonna be coming out in theaters. And so I'm very excited about that. It's my first horror movie, and it's with really cool people, and I move away in 2 weeks for it. So
Also, I think we're forgetting something why you were on Zoom or in Riverside for
months.
Yes.
9,000 years.
yes, a show that I did for a very long time that everyone's sick of me talking about in Scottsdale, Scotland, Arizona. The Buccaneers will be coming out this year on Apple TV Plus. So very excited about that too. If you want to see me in a corset,
I do.
crying
Snatched.
and frolicking.
Oh, come on. I love, you
Frolicking.
know, Siti, my grandmother, she's incredible. She looks like Donatella Versace. Josie is
I
her
love
favorite
DTV.
grandchild. She's going to eat that up. She loves period pieces.
I'm super
Needed
excited.
to say that.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
No, that is awesome. I can't wait for her to watch it, and I can't wait to watch it too. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. Yaz, what Yaz? You're like sweating a little bit.
Are you okay? What?
Are you having?
What's
You guys,
happening?
or you guys.
What?
Fiona.
Yas, do you need something? Stop.
Wait, what?
I don't feel good.
Wait,
I don't feel.
Yas is shaking in her legs.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Yas, can we do something for you?
My water just broke because I'm having a podcast.
You're not a real person, bro.
I
can't.
is that a good
That was
intro?
beautiful. I
Talk
loved
about
it.
it.
I come closer.
Okay.
I am coming out with my very
coming out.
I'm
period.
coming out.
I'm coming out.
I'm coming out with my very own podcast, and it is called, drum roll please, Main Character with Yasmine.
Yay!
And I will be giving you all the tea, all the shits, all the giggles, and you know damn well these girls are going to be guests back. They're going to be my little, they're going to be my Guillermo and Chewy. Right?
That sounded racially motivated.
Why you look at me for
Let me
Guillermo?
know in the way.
It's crazy.
No,
That's
no.
crazy.
They're going to be a part of the whole ride. Maybe they're not going to be in front of the camera the whole time, but it's okay. You have me. This is something I'm good at. This is something I love doing. I have a voice. I want to talk about it. And if you think they're not going to be guests on this podcast, you're
wrong.
fucking delusional. They're going to be very big guests.
I'm gonna be like Chewie.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yes, on Star Wars.
Yeah.
That was I'm
Wait,
very.
not Star Wars,
Not
girl. I'm
Chewbacca.
talking about Chelsea lately. Talking about Chelsea Handler's talk show.
I'm a creative through and through, and I have a voice and I have something to say, and I feel like my job here wasn't just done yet. So that's why my podcast is coming out very soon, and my teaser trailer for Main Character with Yasmine is coming out right after this.
So I have a God complex where I think I'm the best person in any given room, or I want to be 6 feet under. There's no in between. Do you believe that someone can be funny and hot at the same time? I do, because I am that. You know what I mean? I'm a Leo. What are you? Ugly? Do you identify as an influencer? Are there any should've, could've, would've in your life? What's your relationship like with masturbation as a woman? Were you breastfed as a child? Can I guess? Have you ever had an STI? Normalize it. I never had a bitch like me growing up to look up to. As a young Arab woman who's figuring it out in this world, what I want is to be that for people. What's a piece of advice that you would have given yourself 5 years ago? What does your culture mean to you? Do you believe that everyone's a little bit gay? I want to peak on my deathbed. I want to be like, and I'm dying at 100 too. You are the main character of your own storyline. I am starting this podcast because I have something to say. You have a voice. Might as well fucking use it.
Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't have said that better myself.
Follow me at Childish Yasmine to stay tuned on what the fuck's happening next. Acting, still doing that damn thing, figuring that out.
Stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy.
You're doing all the things.
Yeah, I'm doing stand-up. Book me for some of your shows. It's exciting. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in 5 days or 5 years, but I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the long haul.
Period.
And Miss Josie.
None of us do, and you got us throughout.
Yeah,
all of
I was
it.
gonna say too. I don't think a lot of people know that Yasmine has been the brains of this operation a lot of the time, from beginning to end, and like you have really been our CEO and like
Agreed.
held us together. And anytime one of us was like unbelievably unwell and not being able to like show up in any capacity, whether it was like mentally or physically, like you have pulled our weight consistently. And it has only proven to me that like you are more than qualified to have your own podcast and to do podcasting and to be in this world. I said it the very first time we recorded. I texted you.
Yeah,
I
I
said,
remember that.
you were made, for this.
this.
You were made
Yeah,
for this.
we talked about it.
And you are exceptional. And this podcast is going to be wonderful. And I can't wait for everyone to go follow you and go on that journey with you.
I don't want to cry. I love you. Thank you.
Love you.
But also, once again, regardless of, this podcast would be nothing without you and without you. It's us three. And that has always been the case. We are the fight, flight, and freeze. We are the Powerpuff Girls where it's Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
The brain, the gut.
Yeah.
The brain, the
Wait, what was it? You are the brain. You are the gut. I am the heart. We have so many analogies that we have talked about, that us three, that you can't make up without all three together. The body would fail. You would die without the gut. You would die without the heart. And goddamn, you would die without a brain.
Wow, that was really poetic. That was really beautiful. I thought you were gonna say you were gonna die without us. I was like, damn.
Yeah, you have to plug yourself.
She's not gonna do it.
You can find her
At
Josie Toda. And you can find Alycia at Alycia del Sol.
That was beautiful. Wow. Okay, Harmony.
Well, like any
Wow.
funeral, it has to end.
Must be laid to rest.
So we're gonna throw this bitch in the pit and
Damn, have some class.
and call it a day. But I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful for each one of you. Caroline, I know you're listening on the mic. Our producer Fiona, I'm looking dead into your eyes.
Fiona, Caroline.
Our lovies behind the 4 Dell
Monitors.
monitors
And HP.
who are putting us together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
everyone.
to you,
yeah.
our listeners, our family. You were a part of the group chat from the beginning. People who have just started listening yesterday. Sorry, it ended really abruptly. We couldn't do this without you. This is why we did it. We're grateful for you to be here. You're loved, and that's that.
Thank you for being a part of this DWS familia, for supporting us, for being there for our insanity, for our sad moments, for our vulnerability, for watching our growth firsthand. And just know you will see us soon. It is not if, but when. And we love you and you are loved. And take care of yourself, please. Forever and always. Te queremos. We love you.
That was so beautiful.
We love you.
Bye.